Hello, everybody, and welcome back to the Up the Guts podcast. Joining as always is your host, Trent Dialton, and it is the review episode. Apologies for a little bit of a later upload. I went down with a bit of a flu. Still kind of got it now, but I'm feeling enough, bit better to be able to get this episode out to you guys. Other than that, the schedule will be the same. Review as it. There is 2 games on a Friday and no Thursday night game this week, which is quite interesting. I'll probably have the review out either Thursday morning or Thursday night. I haven't quite decided. Sure, let me know in the comments which one you would prefer, but they've been going quite well lately, so very much pleased with how well they've been going with the views. If you're a new listener, but if you're watching this on YouTube or you're listening to this via Spotify and Apple Podcasts, make sure you follow and subscribe to the show and share it off to a mate who you think might enjoy it as well. If it's your first time listening on the review episode, we go through and review all of the action from the round, and we ranked each team's performance for that round on a tier list. So the tier list is as follows: elite, contenders, decent, disappointing, and 5am St Kilda Beach. Without further ado, let's get into the Thursday night action that happened in round 22. Let's go. So Thursday night, we had Hawthorn v Collingwood at the MCG, and Hawks got this done very convincingly against a very disappointing Collingwood outfit by 64 points, 17-8, 110, defeated 6-10, 46. Gunston kicked 4 for the Hawks. Chol, Meek, all kicked 3. Watson kicked 2, all in the first half. I wrote down 2, but I feel like he kicked 3. Let me just double check that one. I feel, for some reason, I'm sitting here thinking he kicked 3, but if I wrote down, no, he kicked 2, but it all came in the first half, and he was everywhere in that first half. Quaino was unable to keep up with him. He was just wreaking havoc, and good news coming out of the Hawthorn club today that he has signed until 2029, adding 3 years onto his contract extensions. Is good news for all all Hawthorn supporters and people at the club that he has added 3 years. He's a young upcoming star, the Wizard. As for the multiple goal kickers for the Pies, he had Mychek with 2. Newcombe, I thought, was outstanding for the Hawks. 28 disposals, a goal, 7 clearances, and 11 score elements. Amon just couldn't miss a target. 27, going at 96% efficiency. Ginnivan, as he always does, racks it up against his former team, the Pies. He had 26 and 7 score elements. James Sicily, and I can confirm, is back. It's two or three good games in a row now. 26 going at 81% efficiency and 7 marks. Battle's been such a good pickup for them. 26 going at 81% efficiency. Moore at 25 and a goal. Impey also had 25 going at 84% efficiency. Took the 8 marks and also had 3 goal assists. Scott Pennery, after putting pen to paper on Monday, going around another year, he had 27 on the week on last Thursday night, 5 clearances and 8 score elements, and Nick Dacos had 24 disposals as well. The Hawks just ran all over the Pies in the end. From start to finish, they looked like they were just the team that wanted it more. The Collingwood's backline has got to come into question now. It was really appalling that they weren't able to keep up with them in some of their defensive efforts. After Craig McRae came out and said all the we'll go with trial, like all the new things they were trying during that period when they were a couple of games of clear on top of the ladder, is over. Now it's time to business, but they just didn't turn up. One of the things that was a really sad thing to see, but I'm not saying all goes down in one player, but Jeremy Howe's collision was such a disappointing thing for Jeremy Howe. With that concussion, he was sent off to hospital. All cleared, will be right, but he'll enter concussion protocols now, or he'll be in it now as we're talking. But yeah, just he's such an important figure down in that back half, which is really tough to say as he is 34, 33 years old. So you can't rely on just him, but yeah, I thought that was if there was one player watching that Collingwood didn't want to go down, it was Jeremy Howe, because he just sets them up behind the ball. And Darcy Moore, it feels like he's had an okay season intercepting, but he just refuses to defend. Same goes with Dan Houston. He refuses to defend. They put Josh Dacos in the middle to allow him to use the ball a bit more, where people are saying the reason he's not performing is because at Port Adelaide, he's role was what Josh Dacos does at Collingwood now. He was the person they would look to give it in the back half and distribute the ball going forward. They gave him that role this week, and he was butchering kicks. That kick he gave into the middle of the ground without drilling it and just popped it up into the middle of the ground when they were trying to take some dare out the middle of the ground was absolutely appalling. And it's not the Dan Houston we know. Normally Dan Houston, the Port Adelaide Dan Houston, would drill that ball, and that's exactly what he should have done. Instead, he just popped it, was lazy. Some of his body language out there, getting frustrated with teammates, like I said last week, when he had barely touched the ball himself. I think he's just a guy who's low on confidence at the moment, and I hope he can get back to his best form when the final series creeps in. But another person is Lloyd Meek. He had a day out, 32 hit-outs, 10 disposals, kicked the 3 goals, which is so crucial, took the 7 marks, up against Darcy Cameron, who Collingwood supporters would be pleased sign a 3-year deal. On Monday as well, just day at the club, he had 24 hit-outs, 16 disposals, and 6 marks. And the other last question I'd have on this is Nick Dacos' fitness, and I'm with Kane Corns. People always say, it doesn't just come down to Nick Dacos, but Nick Dacos is such an important piece of the puzzle to Collingwood's team. He hardly trained all week. He clearly was sore. He started the game on the bench. He's not running the same. He's clearly sore. It's getting to the back end of the season. If he's not ready, don't play him. If he's hardly trained on the track, I don't care what Nick has to say. If he is not ready in this back end of the season, it's better off him have the week off, bring in someone else and let him refresh. There's more important things coming up. But if he's not ready and he's not at the capability to be able to run out at the ability that we know he can, don't play him. It's as simple as that. It was just really frustrating to see, like, you play Nick Dacos, you don't start him on the bench. He's in that first centre bounce. But Hawthorn go straight into elite. They are a really serious deal with the pace they have on the ball. They showed their toughness around the ball as well. And that tall forward line really worked as well. As for the Magpies, for me, this is the first time I'm going to put them in here, but they go on 5 a.m. St Kilda Beach. That was disgusting. Then we move over to Friday night, Geelong v Essendon, and it was the Cats by 44 points at GMHBA Stadium. 15-19, 109 to fair, 10-5, 65. Cameron kicked 4, moving his tally to 79. We'll talk about that in a second. Actually, we'll talk about it now. Jez, his inaccuracy, he kicked 4 goals, 5 in the end. Might have cost him 100 in the home and away season. I personally didn't think he was going to get it done in the home and away season, but now if he does get it done, it's going to be in the finals. If he had kicked 9, we could be talking about something different. That would have taken him to 84. We could have been talking about something different, but if he is to kick it, I think it's going to have to be in the final series now. Shannon Neal kicked 3 and 3 in the first. It was like 5 minutes of the first quarter. Was looking like it was going to be a threat, but was shut down after that. Mannor's been such a good pickup since they picked him up a couple of years ago from the Werribee VFL. He kicked 3. Blitzarves also kicked 2. McMahon kicked 4. Now, I'd love to know what Collingwood didn't see in Liam McMahon. I know they've got a couple of tall forwards at the moment. Collingwood down there now. Memory, McStay, Myercheck. But in a team that lately has struggled to kick a big score or had a... Like, I love Brody Myercheck, but he's definitely an undersized key forward, but does battle hard and does a terrific job. But I'd love to know what they didn't see in him when they've been crying out for a key forward and they didn't even give him a go. So, and the same thing could be said about Essendon and Patrick Voss. Patrick Voss won their BNF and then Essendon delisted him. And look what he's doing at Freo now. Late in stages, he's the man who is standing up and being that barometer in games. So it's always interesting, some of those players that they teams let go, and you just don't understand why. Bailey Smith had 31, 9 clearances, 3 goal assists, 8 score rolls, 738 metres gained. And Holmes had 29 and 9 score. The 1-2 punch there is so damaging. Roberts had 33 off half-back, and Merritt had 27 to go along with a goal and 10 tackles. Was there anything else? Oh, yeah, that's the other thing I want to talk about. Jaden Nguyen, obviously his second game, was the first Vietnamese player to play in the AFL last week. As in last round, not 22, round 21. But he's really shown some eyes with his tackling pressure and his lockdown capability. Tyson Stengel's no easy player to play on. He is a All-Australian. Kicked, I want to say, 5 in the granny. Such a damaging player, and he kept him goalless. He kicked 0 goals, 3. By all means, Tyson will probably miss his chances. But it was Nguyen. He laid 7 tackles. He's pressure around the ball, and he plays with a bit of aggression. He plays on the line. Really is good to see. I don't think that performance was super impressive by the Cats. So I'm going to put them in contenders. And as for the Bombers, I didn't think they were terrible, really. I thought they were okay. I'm actually going to put them in decent. We move over to Saturday. One of the more boring games you'll ever watch. Richmond, St Kilda. Richmond by 4 points. Don't want to spend too much time on this. Disposals, though, Ross 26. Wanganeen Malira didn't have the same impact, but still had 33 and a goal. Winhager starting to play more of a midfield role rather than a stoppage role. Had 32 and 6 tackles. And Wilkie was phenomenal. 29 at 97% efficiency, 16 marks and 9 intercepts. Obviously, some big talks. Rumours coming out that Cal Wilkie, Marcus Winhager, we already know the side. Wanganeen Malira is on the more potentially on the move back home to Adelaide, whether it's Adelaide or Port. And the other one was Jack Steele is also another one. So they're just rumours at the moment, but it'll be interesting if Callum Wilkie does ask to go home. But believe he's a South Australian boy as well. He's either South Australia or WA. Don't know which one. Can't remember which one it is exactly. But he's such a pivotal part for that defence. So if he goes, I don't know what it is. And it's rumoured that they're willing to offer Harley Reid 25 mil over 12 years, which would be equivalent to 2.25 mil a year. The figures for Harley Reid is getting ridiculous now. I get it, he's an up-and-coming star, but 2.25 million and 12 years, it's just getting ridiculous. What if he has a career-ending injury? What if he's a bust? I don't think he's a bust, but it's more, what if he has a career-ending injury? And we've seen him in patches take games home. I get it, he's young. But we've only seen him in patches rip games apart. We haven't seen the full package yet. So 25 mil over 12 just seems a fair too extreme for me. I don't know if I would even be prepared to pay him 2 mil yet. That's just my personal opinion. But I don't think I'd be prepared to pay him 2. If people are saying 1.8, sure, 1.8, because let's face it, that's the same they're offering T to K. But 2.25 mil over 2.25 a season, I would not be prepared to say that, and I think it's getting a bit ridiculous. As we move over, and the rankings in that game, as I said, didn't want to spend too much time with it, so we'll go straight to the rankings. And they both go in 5 a.m. St Kilda Beach, one of the more boring games you'll witness this season. We move over to the Lions and the Swans at the Gabba. Now, this was a surprise as the Swans, I said that they could be a team that won't make finals but can ruin a few seasons, have some upsets late in the season, and that's exactly what they've done here, beating the Lions at their home ground, the Gabba, by 2 points, 13-14, 92 to 13-12, 90. Heaney was the star with five goals, kicking 4 goals in the first half and finished with 5 goals from his 23 disposals. With Gordon coming back into side, it's allowing Heaney to push forward a bit more. That's where he's most damaging, rolling up to play at that stoppage and then going deep, because you tag Heaney, good luck. He's just going to take you to the square. So it's never an easy task there. He was outstanding. Warner also kicked 2. As for the Lions, Morris kicked 3. Bailey and Wilmot, who's having a really good patch here as well. Really good play off the halfback line, kicked 2 each. Dunkley had 31 to go along with a goal. Ashcroft also had 31 and 10 score involvements. McCluggage had 37 clearances. Zorko had 28 to go along with 9 marks, 8 score rolls, 672 metres gained. We mentioned Wilmot, 27, going at 85% efficiency and 2 goals. Levi Ashcroft was another star. He had 27, a goal and 7 clearances. That rising star race is going to be really intriguing. It's out of now Dan Curtin, Murphy Reid and Levi Ashcroft. Gordon, as we mentioned before, 29, 9 scorers. Angus Sheldrick, he shows these signs that he could be a really good player for the Swans, and another good performance by him. 26, a goal, 3 goal assists, 11 score involvements, and 591 metres gained. And Warner, along with his 2 goals, also had 26. So the Swans have to go on a late for that performance, beating last year's premiers at their home ground. And the Brisbane Lions, for me, can still go in contenders, though they came back late. Or do I want to... I'm going to put them in decent. I'm not going to be as kind to them. I'm going to chuck him in decent because the Swans really dominated most of the play there. So that's where I got it. Saturday night, we had a doubleheader, and we start off with Carlton v Gold Coast at Marvel. And it was Gold Coast by 19 points, 11-8-74, defeated by 13-15-93. Geez, didn't this guy come alive, especially in the last quarter when Carlton were coming. Frankie Evans kicked 4, Mackay kicked 3. As for the Suns, Ben King kicked 6 and had a mark as a year contender in that. What a huge mark that was. Long kicked 3 and Fiorini kicked 2. For the Blues, Hollands, 29 disposals, 10 rebound 50s and 626 metres gained. Critz had 29 and 8 tackles. And Lord, who pre-game on Fox Footy when Michael Voss was getting interviewed, he said, like last week, Cooper Lord would play a tagging role and he would go straight to Noah Anderson. And if we go down here, he kept Noah Anderson to... I said no disposals. I believe, I reckon that's meant to say 19. Let's go have a look. Sorry, just mucked up my notes. Yeah, it's meant to say 19 disposals. While also having a big impact himself. He had 24 disposals, 12 tackles, 7 clearances, 7 scorer. He just plays with a bit of edge, real in and under. But the star of the day and the best on ground performance, without a doubt, was Matty Rowell. 30 disposals, 9 clearances, 8 tackles, 2 goal assists, and 13 scorer moments. The knock on Matty Rowell used to be he can't get easy ball, but he's changed his game so much. Watching him on Saturday night get the ball and burst away and get some outside run. He's got some serious wheels. I imagine that's always been there, but he's just developed it a bit more to be able to find that ball on the outside, as well as still doing his inside work. Like 9 clearances, but the speed he was showing from the outside was just like, whoa, this is a future Brownlow medalist without a doubt. Miller also had 25 and Noble had 24. The Blues did start hot, kicking 6 of the first 7 goals of the game, and I thought, geez, could this be another test where Gold Coast come over here and can't do it? But they did manage to get up and do it. But other than that, I didn't have really much talking points to that. I'm going to put them both in contenders for that performance. I thought it was a solid game. The other game on Saturday night at the Adelaide Oval was Port Adelaide v Fremantle, and Fremantle just escaped this with a win by 6 points, 13-14-92 to 13-8-86. For the Port Adelaide Power, McGinty had 2, Georgiades had kicked 2, Rosie, Lacocious and Rioli all kicked 2 as well. Paddy Voss, the man who's really showing up in last quarters and the game is on the line, he kicked 3. Frederick, Bolton, Reid, Tracy all kicked 2 as well. Butters had 29. Farrell had 25 disposals and Wines also had 25. Sarong had 28 and 7 clearances. O'Meara had 26 and Neil Erasmus also had 26, going at 85% efficiency. Biggest talking point of this, Freo come from behind and now storm their way into the top 4 of the ladder. Really good signs of Freo. They're coming good at the back end of the season when they really need to be. I mentioned before, but Pat Voss is built for the big moments. Again, he had an impact in the last quarter, kicking 2 goals and shushed the crowd. I just love the way that he plays on the edge, but when the game is there to be taken over, he's 2 weeks in a row has proved he's the man that can be that guy to put the team on the back of his shoulders, put that forward line on the back of his shoulders, and go in and hard and have a real impact on the scoreboard, and just his physical presence around the ball too. But another for Port Adelaide, Ali was superb behind the ball for Port, and even pushed forward to kick his first goal as a Port Adelaide player. He had 22 disposals, going at 96% efficiency. 17 marks and 12 intercepts. Murphy Reid has all the tricks. That goalie kick was absolutely phenomenal. Don't count him. I mentioned before, but do not count him out of the Rising Star race. I know he had a little patch there, but he's in the top 10. Was it for score involvements or goal assists for any player across the whole competition in his first season? It was absolutely phenomenal. Can just put it on a dime. He has all the tricks and all the crafts. to be that perfect small forward. Will eventually push into the midfield, I'd imagine, because that's what he was drafted as. But he has all the tricks. But a touching moment in the end was when Nat 5 and Trav Boak exchanged jumpers post-game. Now, at that point, Trav Boak was the only one who had retired, but Nat 5 also announced yesterday, Monday, that he was hanging up his boots at the end of the season as well. So it was a very touching moment there. I'm going to put them both in contenders, not quite elite. Now we move over to the Sunday game, and at Canberra, Manuka Oval, and the Giants get this done over North Melbourne by 54 points, 2013, 133, defeated 12-7, 79. Cal Brown was the leading goalkeeper with 5. Cadman kicked 4. Green and Stringer continues to find his best form. He kicked 3 each. Darling and Trembath on debut kicked 3 each. Harvey kicked 2 as well. As for disposals, Callahan had 31, a goal, 8 clearances and 8 tackles. Whitfield had 27, going at 82% efficiency. Tom Green had 25, 15 contested, a goal, 10 clearances and 14 score runs. I'm loving the fact that Tom Green is having an impact on the scoreboard now. And Hillenberg was elite down back, 24, 13 marks and 11 score moments. Sheasel through the midfield had 31 and 6 clearances. Parker through the middle had 29, 8 clearances and a goal. McKercher also had 27, 93% efficiency, a goal and 625 metres gained. Now I mentioned what a moment for Cooper Trembath to, on debut, and to really have an impact on debut. Kicking 3 goals down there is really good to see. And I mentioned as well, Jake Stringer has hit a good patch at the right time of the year, and he could prove a threat as the finals comes up in it. But for me, I think the Giants have to go in elite for that. Just flex their muscles, and I'll put North in decent. Now, the penultimate game of the round, and in my opinion, the best game of the round was Melbourne v. the Western Bulldogs, obviously fresh off the sacking of Simon Goodwin. Troy Chaplin was the standing interim coach, has already announced that he will not be going down the process of coaching the Melbourne Football Club. But the Bulldogs have just escaped with victory by 6 points. 15-15, 105, defeated 15-9, 99, sorry. Fritz, Petty, Melksham, all kicked 2. All kicked 2 for the Demons. As for the Bulldogs, geez, Norton just continues his form. I think he's kicked 50-plus goals this season now. He kicked 5. Richards and Darcy all kicked 2 each. And Sam Darcy's game-saving mark was nothing less than phenomenal. To put his body on the line like that, it was Nick Rebo-esque. Going back with a flight, only eyes for the ball, and take away the pack with him, do a somersault through it. That was the mark that saved the game. As goals just kept swinging and changing that last quarter, Melbourne would have the lead. Then Western Bulldogs would respond. That was the best part about the game. That last quarter, you had to sit down and watch it to believe it, but it was just momentum swings left, right, and centre, and it was a great game. But Sam Darcy, round of applause, because that was the game-saving mark. It was still plenty of time for Melbourne to go forward, but once Sam Darcy, I think there was 36 seconds on the clock. Once Sam Darcy took that mark, he was able to push back, drain time off the clock, and that was game over. As for disposals, Oliver had 27, 8 score involvements, and Salem also had 24. Bontempelli had 33, 7 clearances, and 685 metres gained. Ed Richards was the best on-ground performer, 31 disposals, going at 84% efficiency, 2 goals, 14 clearances, 2 goal assists, and 15 score involvements. Ballydale had 23, going at 87% efficiency. Kennedy also had 24, 7 clearances, and Liberatoria had 24 and 12 clearances. I'm going to put them both in elite for the spectacle they put on. I thought it was the best game of the round, so there was no other place to put them but both in elite. Then the last game of the round, geez, the Crows have just escaped this one. West Coast, I love the fact that West Coast didn't go down without a fight, and I loved how much the West Coast faithful, who show up week in, week out, no matter the outcome from the previous week, they always show up in numbers. But it was the Crows by 9 points at Optus. 13-9, 87, defeating 12-6, 78. Shanahan's a fine for them, Job Shanahan. I'm really liking him for the Eagles. He kicked 3. Liam Ryan also kicked 3. As for the Crows, Silthorpe and Pedlar kicked 3. Geez, Tom McCarthy's been a good pickup since they picked him up through the mid-season draft, and they've even put him into the midfield now to show off his pace. He had 29, 627 metres gained. Kelly back as a on-baller, not as a high half forward, and he responded in good fashion. 25 disposals, 19 of them contested. Kicked a goal to go along with his 11 clearances. Speak of in and under, Dawson, 26, the skipper, a goal, 14 tackles, 638 metres gained. And Laird had 25, 84% efficiency, and spent some time in the middle as well to go on with 5 clearances. Heartbreak for the Eagles as they led all the way, as I mentioned, to the last 8 minutes of the last quarter. It was an interesting game as the Eagles kicked the first goal of the game. Then the Crows looked to really kick away with 5 of the next 6. Then Eagles answered back with the next 6 in a row. It was really good to see the Eagles not just lay down. We've seen them in the past when this happens, they would just lay down, but they didn't. And for that performance, I'm putting them in contenders. They've come up against the flag favourites at the moment and done that. And as I'm going to put the Crows in contenders as well for that performance. So there are my rankings for the round. Let's go back and have a look at the ladder as it stands now after round 22. Then we'll come back and review my rankings before we wrap it all up. So the ladder, as we speak right now, top 8 is the Adelaide Crows have stay on top of the ladder. Geelong staying second. Collingwood, the top 8 stays as it was. So Adelaide, Geelong, Collingwood, Fremantle, Brisbane, Gold Coast, Hawthorn, WS. Matter of fact, the whole ladder stays the same. 9th, Bulldogs, Sydney, St Kilda, Port Adelaide, Melbourne, Carlton, Essendon, Richmond, North Melbourne, and the West Coast Eagles. So no movement in the ladder there. Now let's quickly review my rankings before we wrap this all up. In the elite category, I've gone with Hawthorn, WS, Melbourne, Sydney, and the Western Bulldogs. Contenders, I've gone with the Cats, the Suns, the Blues, Port Adelaide, the Dockers, the Eagles, and the Crows. Decent, I've gone with Essendon, Brisbane, and North Melbourne. No disappointing, which has been a common occurrence lately. I've been a bit more harsh with my critics, but 5am St Kilda Beach, I've gone with St Kilda and Richmond as a package for their game that they played, appalling to watch, and the Collingwood Football Club need to really make some big changes there. Well, there you have it, guys. There is my review of the whole of round 22. Thank you guys for watching. If you enjoyed this episode and you're listening to this on Spotify and Apple Podcasts, make sure to leave a like and comment, hit that follow button, turn on the notification bell, and please leave a 5-star rating as well, as that does help get the show out there. If you're watching this on YouTube, make sure to leave a like and comment on this video, hit that subscribe button, and turn on the notification bell as well. Thank you guys for listening, and until next time, I'll see you guys then.